Okay, so it's Peter here. So this is actually the third time that I've shot this video because it's just got mind-blowingly complicated, but I think we finally got it down to something way more understandable now, hopefully. So this is all about how to do a custom DNS so that you're promoting your own URLs rather than Convertri's, which is quite important, and in essence it's very simple. So the first thing we need to do is we just need to create a CNAME record in your DNS, which is probably in most people's cases going to be at their registrar, okay, which we're going to go into in just 1 second. So you just create a new DNS record, a CNAME at your registrar, like this. So this is basically where you want it to, the URL that you want the users to use, and then this is the URL you always use to send it to Convertri, and then at the Convertri end we're going to do something else in a minute. So in essence it's as easy as adding a CNAME. Now how exactly you add the CNAME unfortunately varies with different registrars, so we'll come back to that in a minute. So the first thing is that with CNAME, with NameCheap, you can see that you can just go to domain list and manage, and you can add the new record there, and then you would type in the CNAME, and as we said, this is going to be what you want the users to type in at that domain name, and then this is always going to be custom.convertri.com, and you can either leave that on automatic or now. But the trouble with this, and this is actually easiest for a subdomain, so it's actually easiest if you're doing like api.domainname.com rather than domainname.com/folder. So it's probably easiest for domain names and probably more sensible for domain names for subdomains as well. But the trouble with the NameCheap version is that it only works, okay, if you're using, where's the bit gone? Only if you're using their DNS basically. Okay, so if you're using their basic DNS, which is free, or their premium DNS, which is paid but it's got DOS protection on it, then all of this works. Now if you're not using that and you're using, like I am, vanity name servers, so with a vanity name server, instead of being ns1.controlled or something like that, it's actually ns1.mydomainname.com. So that's called a vanity name server, and the reason I like those is obviously because it's my own domain name, and B, because if you move hosting and you have to change the IP for some reason, it picks up almost instantaneously if you're using your own vanity servers, whereas if you have to change name servers it can take up to 48 hours. I mean normally it's about an hour, but it can take up to 48 hours for it to know, whereas with vanity servers that doesn't happen. So that's the other reason that I like to use that, and also just in terms of domain management, it's a lot better if people can't find your host but they find you in your domain name. So anyway, so it works fine on NameCheap if you're using their own DNS servers, and you can see on the help page that you can just type into Google and how to set up a CNAME on NameCheap, and it shows you exactly what to do, and then we do exactly what they tell us here. So you set up a CNAME record, this is going to be what you want the users to type in basically, and this is going to be always going to be the same where it's going to go, which is custom.convertri.com dot. Sorry, I shouldn't forget the dot at the end on both of them. It's actually quite important because otherwise it thinks that it ends there, whereas the dot tells it that there's a page to come, which is what Convertri needs to do, because it maps this to a page. So if you're using the NameCheap DNS servers, their own ones, that's fine, but I'm not. So I'm using vanity URLs. So on my NameCheap account I do not have the option to add CNAMEs, but I believe you can also do this on CPANEL, but I don't use CPANEL. So I'm actually running a thing called VESTACP, which is a kind of a GPL version of CPANEL, if you like. And they've got their own DNS management in that, and you can see it's just like any other kind of DNS manager you'd kind of find. You've got your domain name there, and you just list them up, and you can see you've got your other regular things like your name servers. There's my vanity URLs, the other end of it somewhere there. Okay, so two ends of the name servers, vanity name servers. And if you want to add a CNAME, all you do is just click on the plus there, and you just type in what you want it to be. So I'll call this one photo join. Actually, I'll call it join. There we go. So I'll call it join. Now, on Convertri's instructions, they tell you to do join dot image club, or whatever your domain is, .xyz, and end with a dot. Okay, but the trouble with the VESTACP is you can see that it's already tried to be helpful, and it's actually added everything I've typed to the domain name already. So in actual fact, all I have to type with VESTACP is just join, and you can see that it's actually put the dot in for me, and I can't actually put a dot in at the end. Okay, so with VESTACP, all I need to put in is join, no dot, no domain name, because it's going to add the domain name for me. Now that's just with VESTACP. Your control panel might be different. It might be different on CPANEL. I don't know. Okay, so you'll have to work that out. But you obviously you want the end result to be the subdomain join dot, and then the domain, your domain name, in my case imageclub.xyz, and then it's a CNAME record. Okay, no doubt about that. And it's always going to be the same for Convertri. It's custom.convertri.com. Don't forget the dot at the end of Convertri. Okay, and that's basically it, and we just add that. Now what did I do? Just do join, right? Okay, so that's that. And then if we look at the DNS records, we'll see it in the list somewhere. There it is. Join. So join is going to custom.convertri.com. Okay, so that's that. Now at the Convertri end, what we need to do, it's probably easiest if we, well, no, I can't copy actually. On Convertri itself, we're on the site level, and we just add a new site, and mine is join, and it's image club .xyz. Okay, that's what I want people to type in their web browsers, and that's what I want them then to go to Convertri. So there's no dot on the end of this one, because this is what I want the users to type in. Okay, and we just do that. Okay, it's probably gone down the bottom somewhere. There it is. And I'm just going to add the funnel name. Okay, I like to put funnel because it gets too confusing in Convertri which is which. So this is what join. Join image club. Okay, just so I know what it is. This is only for your reference. Nobody else is going to see that or know that. And then I need a page to actually put it on, and just for simplicity, I'm just going to create a page called index. Okay, and then I can put any old thing on there. Let's just add an image. Let's just use my Convertri image. Okay, let's swap that on the page somewhere. Okay, and I'm just going to save that. Now this is the important bit. This is actually what the the name server is going to do. So it's very important that you remember what page you've created. So I'm creating a page called index. So in other words, my URL is going to be join.imageclub.xyz / index. Okay, now when I click preview here, it's not going to work here. Okay, and this is the big problem, because we don't know whether it's worked or not. So there's a good little thing, and again it probably still won't be there even now, but there's a good little proxy server called live-proxy.com. okay, now I don't know how secure this is, so for God's sake don't use it for anything important like login details or anything like that, or payment or anything like that, because I have no idea how secure it is. It may not be secure, they might sniff it, I don't know, anything could happen. But this is just a URL, so I don't care. So I just put the URL in there, and you can see that's the subdomain that I want, join. Okay, that's what I've mapped to Convertri. The imageclub.xyz is my domain name, and index is the page that I published Convertri to. Now it doesn't matter what the funnel name is, it's what the page name you published is. Now it may be that comes up, it may be it doesn't. Okay, it doesn't. So that's waiting for it to happen. Okay, and I just have to wait for it to happen. But that's how I would do it, in that way, and that would be it. That'd be me done. Okay. Now, what I kind of decided was that because everybody's using different, registrars, there's a subdomain that I created earlier that that works. What I decided earlier was that because we're all using different registrars and everything, it's getting confusing. So what I decided to do was to set up an account on Cloudflare. Okay, cloudflare.com. Okay, and there's a couple of reasons for good reasons for doing that. One is that they will help protect your site from traffic and abuse and DOS attacks anyway, and make it quicker to load, keep the bad traffic away, but also they make adding the CNAMEs really easy. So once you add your domain name to the thing, and they tell you how to to do it, but for this all you need to do is just change the name servers to the ones that they give you. Okay, which they give you down the bottom somewhere. So they give you these name servers, and you just go to your registrar and you change the name servers. Now, with every registrar, changing the name servers is easy. Okay, there's no complication there. Even with NameCheap and custom, and Vanity name servers, changing the name servers is easy. So what you do is you just change the two name servers to the ones that Cloudflare give you. You wait for 10-15 minutes waiting for that to happen, and then if you want to add a CNAME, all you just do is you just click on that box, go to CNAME, you type in the CNAME that you want. Now they already know what the domain name is, so I just need to put join in there. Okay, and then, but as always, it's always going to be the same thing for Convertri. It's going to go to custom, because it didn't paste. It's going to go to custom.convertri.com. Okay, you can change that to an hour if you want or whatever, but I'll just leave it on automatic. So when somebody comes to join dot and then the domain of the name of my domain, then it will be routed to custom.convertri.com. Okay, so I'll just add that record. Okay, and in it will go. Now again, I don't know if it's happened yet. Let me just get rid of them. Come on, go away. There we are. But I'm just going to go and put that into that again. So even though we're using Cloudflare for this, on the Convertri end, you still have to add the site with the same subdomain. So sorry, just to be absolutely clear here, the way I'm doing this is with subdomains, i.e. the bit before the domain name, and not folders, which is the bit after the domain name. So I think it's easier and better to use subdomains. So that's what I'm doing. Everything I'm showing you here is about subdomains. Somebody else can show you how to do pages. So the raw thing probably doesn't come up. Let's just see if the proxy has managed to find it. So yeah, that's where we're going. So it's join, that's the name of the domain, that's the page I created on Convertri. Let's just see if it's managed to do it. And lo and behold, it has. Now this is the problem. You see, if I go there directly in my browser, Google and Chrome in its infinite wisdom, even if I do a hard refresh, it says it hasn't happened yet. Okay, so now I'm thinking, oh, did I muck it up, or I got it wrong? Whereas if I use the proxy, live.proxy.com, I can see it actually is there, and that's the page that I published on Convertri. Okay, and if I just add a not an image, I just add a little panel. Okay, I'll just make that red just to prove that I've done something. Okay, I'm just going to save that. Okay, I'm going to publish it. Now it could, and it's going to index again, remember. So it could even be that even the Convertri preview is going to say that it's not there, which it does, which is really aggravating. But that's not Convertri's fault. It's Chrome browser. Is although it's trying to use the the address and the DNS that Chrome is storing. Whereas if we use the and even if we do it directly in the browser, same thing, hard refresh, same thing, doesn't say it's there yet. If I use the proxy, okay, and let me just show you just again, just to be 100% sure, live.proxy.com. okay, I'm going to go to join and then my domain name image club.xyz, and the page I created in Convertri was called index. Okay, and if I do it on that, you can see that it does come up. So let's click the button, and oh, it didn't come up that time. Hang on. it's been now. Oh, I spelled it wrong. I put XYA. Jeez. Okay. Right. There we go. And is it going to come up? What type's it wrong again? I don't know. There we go. No, there it is. So, and there's the red bar that I added. I just added it. Right, there was the original picture, and there is the red bar, which is the same as the Convertri page over here. So, yeah, the trouble is if you look at it in your browser, you're not really seeing, the current state of events. If you do live-proxy.com, you are seeing the, the current events, and it should work a bit better. Let's do one more change. So I'm just going to change the color of that again to green. Okay, I'm going to save. Okay, now remember, you see, and I'm going to publish it. I have to publish it, but you again remember, and I'm going to publish it to that. Remember that even Convertri will not show you what's really current because it's using your browser again. So we have to go to live-proxy.com. There it is, and have a look at it there. And there you are. You can see there's the green that I just did in Convertri. Okay, so basically I've used the and the other thing obviously is that the URL that it's showing the world is join.imageclub.xyz, so nobody's got any idea that I'm actually using Convertri to host this page. Okay, so when I promote it, I'm promoting my URL and not Convertri, so that's why it's important that we do this. So the way that I achieve this, the simplest and the quickest, you can see that my VESTACP thing is still propagating because it's having to propagate from my server. My server's not really tapped in that well to the whole interweb, whereas Cloudflare, they've got super fast domain name server records, and I added it there, and here we are. Where's the right tab? Here we are, in the proxy, and we're there. We're on there. We're published. We're live. So this should have a. That's a different one actually. This should have. So I'm still waiting for this one to root because it's coming from my. Oh right, it's happening now. So. Lovely, great when you do things live, isn't it? Anyway, so that one's rooted as well now, okay? But this is, but I published it, this at the start of this tutorial, and I've changed the, this top bar to green, and there it is live on the proxy server image, live-proxy.com, within minutes. Whereas if I do it on my own server, it could take 48 hours or something, who knows? Whereas using Cloudflare. Cloudflare, okay, and the proxy server, so that's the two combinations, okay, this is the vital combination. So using Cloudflare and the proxy to view it, you're on the web instantly, and you know that it's working and that it's right. Now again, your customers still not be able to see it because in my Google Chrome, the DNS is still not done it. I can even tell Chrome to please stop using your DNS, thank you very much. Okay, I'm saying don't remember anything, just forget everything, and still when I go here and do a hard refresh, sorry, that's the wrong one, I do a hard refresh, okay, it's still not come up, although join.image club is actually there on the proxy server. Okay, so the proxy server is much quicker at looking the host files up and showing the changes. Anyway, I think that's it. Hopefully that wasn't too mind-bendingly complicated. If you're not using Vanity, Vanity domain name servers. Sorry, I forgot what it's called then. Then obviously you can just add a CNAME to your registrar. That's fine if you want to do that. That's how you do it on NameCheap. You can just Google up set up CNAME records on NameCheap or whatever the name of your host is. Set up CNAME records on and whatever the name of your host is, and you'll probably find a tutorial to do it. But if you're using Vanity, your DNS like I am, then you have to do it at your hosting end, and I'm using VESTACP, so it makes it easy enough to do it. Okay, it's easy to add a CNAME record there, but it's going to take maybe 48 hours to propagate and all that kind of stuff. Whereas if I just assign the domain name, the DNS to Cloudflare, which is free for the basic level, then on their DNS settings, you can see it's very easy to add the CNAME record like that, and then we're all using it the same way, and then it's super easy. But the only caveat is that you still might not be able to see it. Okay, because your browser is using the host records wherever they're coming from your ISP probably, whereas if you use live-proxy.com, you're going to see the current state of affairs, to see actually what's happening. So that's it. I hope that's helped you. That's it. Just the one caveat, remember I'm using subdomains here, which is the bit before the domain name. I'm not using the folder names, which is the bit after the domain name. I don't think that's a good way of doing it. So and this looks like a natural kind of URL now, because it's all in the join subdomain, and now the Convertri pages or whatever the Convertri page is going to be, and that's all logical. Whereas otherwise, it's going to be the domain name plus the mapped subfolder plus the page name. Okay. Which even saying it is getting a bit complicated. So I'm using the subdomains. Okay, and if you can add a CNAME record easily, then that's fine. If you can't, then I just suggest that maybe you assign it to Cloudflare, who'll give you the extra protection and all that, and they just make adding CNAMEs very easy, and then it's uniform for everybody. So that's it. I hope that was good, and I shall talk to you next time, and that's it. Bye for now. Bye bye.